What it do, niggas?
Wow. What's up with the subdued greetings?
You know, because for another day, you guys have not checked on me. And I just realized you're just men.
We were literally texting yesterday.
I'm saying it's 7 a.m. Y'all didn't see me. Nobody said, oh, Amber's usually early. Where is she?
Listen, Amber, I must say that I was stuck on the island and my phone got wet. And you know who the only person checked on me? Renee. Not Amber.
That's factually incorrect. Huh? That's factually incorrect. I was part of the text group checking in on you. But that's not true.
You said you weren't gonna be here, so why would I check on you? I mean, check on me if you didn't see me.
See, anyway, and my eye, I can't even get into my iCloud thing, so I don't know who texted me.
How your phone get wet? What was you doing, Geechee?
In the ocean. I was in
You know they sell cute little envelope things you can put your phone in to not get it wet.
Well, listen. First of all, you ain't gonna gaslight me because we talk about you ain't calling check on me. Let's focus on that first, and then we can get to the other stuff.
Well, I'm talking about for the show. If you didn't see me show up, you know, the common thing to do would be like, oh, I wonder if Amber's okay.
All right, let's do a start over. Start us over, Jared. Take us back.
That's why you single, Geechee.
You don't know him.
Niggas.
All right, Amber, we missed you. Oh my gosh, like we were so worried about you. We're so glad that you showed up.
Aww. Thanks, Geechee. You know,
yeah,
I'm
man,
going through a lot.
Whew.
Going through so much over here.
I'm so glad that you're here and alive with us.
I appreciate it. I like your two pigtails. That's cute.
Thank
Trying
you.
to relive your youth?
Nah.
Oh, you got more pigtails in the back too. It's just you could just see the two in the front.
Yeah, I know. I'm cool with it. Yeah, my bad. Oh yeah, my bad. I ain't text nobody back because listen, my iMovie or whatever you call it, I can't log in and I'm locked out for 2-3 days. So I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, you know what's crazy is I had a nightmare the other night that I was out doing something and I was listening to music in the shower. I listened to music in the shower, like I had my phone in there with me, and I held the phone up and a whole bunch of water got in the lightning port and I woke up immediately. I said, "Ooh, that's trauma." I was so afraid.
Wait. You thought you was gonna lose your phone, your access to your phone, and that was traumatic?
Yeah, I thought that like it was a dream, but it didn't feel like it. It felt very like vivid, and I just woke up immediately because I was like, "Oh, that's scary."
So, Jared, this ain't no age joke, but
here we go. That it started off already.
I'm just saying. So, this because I'm old too. Do you remember when we used to have to use maps to drive around and you didn't use the GPS on phones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I used to use those. We used to print out the MapQuest instructions.
So map.
No. Triple A maps. Actual maps.
I've used actual maps before.
Where you got to learn the legend and learn how to tell distance.
I mostly use the actual maps when I'm hiking, like when I was like hiking different like trails and stuff, or like state parks and stuff. You know, you have to use an actual.
No, I don't do that.
Wait, I'm saying you use the actual maps from the stores to get around. Oh, you wasn't driving back then, Amber. There's no way you can tell me.
No, I'm talking about for hiking. I had to use an actual map.
No, listen, we're talking about driving. The maps
I know what
for
you're
driving.
talking about, like when you take trips and stuff. Yeah, my mom has used them. Like we were in the car with her. She's used them, but not me.
I had to navigate. We had a legal defense fund had this convening that we went to in Atlanta, and because my phone was gone, like I literally had to like look at the the address or the directions on my computer and then like look at it while I drive or figure out down the roads, and it just
Did
took
you
me
wear a
back
watch? Like, how did you figure out where you were going?
because it tells you the directions and you just follow directions based off of what you've written down. Like when you print
Like,
out
how do you
MapQuest.
know what time it was? Do you have a watch on since your phone isn't working?
No, you talking about how do I know what time the event is?
Yeah, what time it is, like in the day, what time the event is. Like, how do you know what time anything is?
My car still got the time.
Oh,
What I'm saying is I don't have access to my GPS on my phone, and you have to navigate throughout Atlanta City without this GPS telling you left and make a right turn in this. And it just took me back in the days when that happened. So Jerry,
you got lost or it was okay?
No, I made it.
Okay.
I found it. I followed the instructions of the parking.
One thing about me, I never would have made it.
Anyway, Jerry, can you feel like you can do without your phone? Like if your phone was oh no?
No, I'm totally captured despite my age.
Oh.
I'm
I
useless.
actually can do without using my phone. It's actually me holding the phone. The phone is like an anxiety safety blanket in some way. That was like I told my mom, I was like, that was the hardest thing about being in jail. It's like I honestly was fine sitting there, but I wanted something in my hand. Like I wanted to hold something because I couldn't have my phone, and it was bothering me. Like that was really what was giving me anxiety, was like not being able to, because you like just like your phone is kind of weighted, and it just is like a natural comfort for me. But I actually don't be on the phone. I literally just be holding it all the time. Or if I'm not holding it, I'll be on my computer working. But if I'm just sitting somewhere, I'll be holding it just for the comfort. And that was killing me, boy. I said, shit. I kept going to like the jail phone, calling people. I was calling people like every 20 minutes just so I could talk, like have something in my hand to talk to people and stuff.
Yeah.
So if I don't put the GPS on, I will get lost or lose track of where I'm going, forget where I'm going. And so I don't go anywhere, even when I know where I'm going and it's right down the street, unless I put the map on. I need to see the map. I need somebody to remind me where you're going. I'll drive, dropping somebody off at the wrong place, picking somebody up at the wrong place. It's just a mess. So yeah, I'm useless. I'm completely captured by my suburban bougie life, and the as soon as the revolution starts, I'm going to be in
So what do you? I mean, you can get home though. Like you can get home, right?
Oh man, I don't know if it's desperate times for desperate measures for desperate times, all that. I might make it back. The muscle memory might kick in.
It ain't just young folks who are tethered to their devices, so cut that out too.
That's what I'm saying. I'm right there. I'm confirming Zenzabel.
I'm saying more so right, young older folks can remember. Like you can navigate if you're forced to do without it, you can navigate it without it. And like even when I was in Costa Rica, like the whole time I didn't really use my phone a lot in GPS, especially unless I'm at the house.
No, if I'm in a situation without a phone, I'm just going to sit down and wait until somebody with a phone finds me. Yep.
Red, what sites are you at? So they're touring the sites in Memphis. What sites are you touring? Don't go to Elvis's house. He's a pedophile.
Whoa. Just quickly. Oh, whoa. Yeah, I'm not going to use that as a segue. That was crazy.
Wait, before we segue, is there a special guest that I wanted to coming, Jared?
Well, that's what I was going to go to, but you had just called somebody a PDF file, so I was going to like let the space cleanse itself
Elvis,
before.
So.
I know, but I just the segue is too quick. It's like it's just too, the juxtaposition is just too close. So you just need to let some space, But yeah, so my brother did not respond to my text, but he is in the chat. Yeah, I'm calling him out. So brother Jamil, you've been invited to join us this morning. At Amber's special request.
Like that? I requested it.
That's what I'm saying. At Amber's special request. Yeah. I told him Amber is requesting your presence. And no, he he really ignored me. So, but he's in the chat now. So if he's willing and able, we can send him the link and he can jump up here and join us. but before I forget though, I saw that, if I can just quickly, I just want to throw this out there. And he said, let him put on his wig. So, so what I can do is I'll just put the link in the chat here, and then I'll send another text.
We about to get all type of people.
I mean, they can make it to the studio, but they might not make it on screen.
On stage.
And
because Zinzi already yelling at me in the chat and shit.
I want to respond to this person while you're doing that, Jared. Rad said they're going to Bill Street and Fort Pillow. Bill Street has this new restaurant called Docks Off Fifth that looks really, really good. I'm probably going this weekend, but if you're on TikTok, I usually tell people to look at that so that you can see what the actual food looks like. I find that, like, to me, I get a better idea of what I'm going to have if I can see an actual visual, not just a picture. And there's a Fat Tuesdays there now. It's like near Beale and Main Street. And then there's also, if you're trying to support like some small businesses, there's a Palestinian owned spot called the Peanut Shop that has like roasted peanuts and other like stuff, like little candy, stuff like that. But they're all like roasted every morning. They're really good. There's some places on Beale Street that are Black owned that are cool. There's a chicken spot on Bill Street. They sell chicken by the pound. She's so fucking good, boy. It's
all right, but Amber, I got to jump back in because I will forget what I was going to get to. So can you come back to this in a minute? No, I already did all of that. That was just a copy and paste a link. But the point I was trying to get to though, before I forget, because Ear Doctor put on the thumbnail for this show a picture of Michael Jordan, and I want to so I want to use that. I don't know what he was thinking when he did that, but I want to use that to make a point. Maybe we'll get to some stories that relate to this today. There's at least one that I want to get to.
Yeah, put the picture up.
I don't have the picture. It's the thumbnail to this show that we're on right now. So I mean, others, so but the point I'm getting at, if I can get there, is that it's perfect that he did that, because I think, again, we are in this civilizational crisis of methodology. So where right now people's lack of critical analysis and method are leading them in popular public spaces to be concluding many ridiculous things, including, as I saw this week, people arguing in this absurd attempt to create a lane for LeBron James to become the GOAT. There's this attempt to undermine Jordan's legacy. So one of the things that has been happening is there has been an attempt to say, well, Jordan didn't play against certain competition. He didn't deserve this, that, and the third. And this past week, they said he didn't deserve the MVP, the finals MVPs from the first three-peat, that at least one of them should have gone to Scottie Pippen, who some are trying to argue was a better player than is often given credit, which is absurd. If you just go back and look at the statistics, it's ridiculous. But so that's part of it. That somehow
but keep going.
This idea that I never thought we would live in a world where people would be questioning the roundness of the earth, that Jordan is the GOAT. And then, as we also saw this week, where Jim Jones would claim his impact on hip hop is more than that of Nas. And
I did see that.
All jokes aside, I really do think these are all connected. The anti-vaccine, the flat earth, the Jordan isn't the GOAT.
I just said it's collusion.
Jim Jones is better than, I'm saying there is a theme here. There's an anti-intellectual theme. The whole reverse hashtag movement.
I do agree with that. The anti-intellectual movement is running rapid right now. These niggas is dumb.
So I just think that's all. So when I saw Jordan on the thumbnail, I said, Ear Doctor and I must be on the same vibe on some level, because I'm like, I do think there is a connection between these silly, ridiculous arguments. and Jim Jones going to sit up there, and I don't even care if he's trolling, as some have claimed this was just him trolling for whatever. But the idea that he could even say it out his face, and that Fat Joe, who should be worried about his own legal situation right now, and Jadakiss would sit there on the podcast on either side of Jim Jones and not say anything as he ran this nonsense about his impact being greater than Nas. And he didn't say, and Rad, I wouldn't even give him Dipset. But he said, never mind Dipset. He said Jim Jones alone. I said, even if you count Dipset, I would still say he's absurd. But just the idea that people would come out their mouth and say, look, without even the humility of, I appreciate my contribution as well as Nas. I appreciate my contribution as well as Michael Jordan. But the idea is that I'm now better than these cats. What is William saying here?
Read this one.
You can't look at the statistics with Jordan because outside points, the home stats keeper made up the stats. William, this is objectively false. I mean, this is just objectively false. Did he or did he not score X amount of points, rebounds, blocks, steals? Did he or did he not play X amount of minutes? Did he or did he not have and all those advanced analytics that show, his value to the game while in the game? Like, he beats LeBron and everybody in every one of those categories. Did he so you saying he didn't earn his defensive accolade? I mean, this is the kind of silliness that I'm saying. So it's never mind the stats where Jordan objectively still wins. It's the eye test. Just watch. But all right.
I was wondering where this was gonna go.
I don't follow sports, William. William said I don't follow sports. I don't need to follow current. Amber, you talking? But this is the ridiculous I'm saying.
One thing I don't do is argue with men about the NBA, baby. Y'all got it. You go ahead. I wasn't sure where you were going to land with all of that, but once you started connecting the dots about the anti-intellectual stuff, I said, okay, you got me. I'm clocked back in. When you was talking about the sports shit, I was clocked out. I said, I don't even
Now, you're right. So William, in certain regard, is right. I don't watch the current sports landscape like I used to. But I can still look at numbers and advanced analytics and still have seen enough in the past to, but to connect the dots, the arguments around Pippen or Jim Jones or I did watch some of the WNBA argument, which I think is really ramping. I don't watch the games.
I'm clocked back in. Let's go.
I love the argument that is emerging that this whole thing around Caitlin Clark is that she is herself an instigator and a flopper who lives off of and is being exposed for her own inability to go left. Apparently, she can't. That if you lock her down going a certain way, she can't get that shot. So the great white hype and hope is the shine is coming off of that a little bit apparently. But
so Jerry, I thought you was going to put Bob Johnson in the conversation since he was in the picture. You left him out of your analysis just now.
You don't even know who Bob Johnson is.
I don't. Who doesn't know who Bob Johnson is?
I'm just a girl.
Oh, Bob Johnson.
None of that shit.
Bob Johnson is so you could have one of the approach. Oh, we got a guess now. We have to come back to that.
You don't
really don't have to. Actually,
we do. We could come back to that, but we have the esteemed brother Jamil. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. I don't know about the esteemed part. I mean, we'll hang on to what we can, but thank you all for having me this morning.
He got Geechee internet though.
Amber, was I required to put on and get my bust down in order? What's going on?
Come on, bust down. Well, so Jared was texting yesterday, and I was like, "Do we have a guest?" And he was like, "No, but there was something you were supposed to talk about." And I was like, "Really?" So I went back and watched the show, and I was like, "Oh, we were talking about your brother." And I was saying we should have your brother come on because he seems like he's so much cooler than you, and he has really good stories. And I just want to talk to him. And he said, "Yeah, that's true. Let me ask him."
Both of those are facts. He is cooler, and he's definitely got some stories. So
No. We were created in the same chamber of coolness. You see, so we are equally cool. All right. I think we can get Geechee to attest to that. We do the same thing. We do
Brother
the
got a
same.
point. That brother got a point.
oh,
He was talking about like the speeches and stuff you were doing. And then you say he was the last person that was like ordained in something. What did you say, Jared?
no, I was saying, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but as I understood it, you were the last officially named national spokesman of the Nation of Islam. That's what I was holding on to as a memory. But feel free to. And I was talking about that tour we went on that I got to go on with you all years ago, and
Yeah.
the quality of the speech making and all of that. So that's what you know.
Well, the history is this. I am honored to have been appointed to serve in the office of the national spokesman of the Nation of Islam. And yes, I would use the word the latest instead of the last. Okay, because
Period.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
hopefully I won't be the ultimate, but we would say the latest in a series of seven brothers and sisters who have done that particular assignment in the nation. And so, because of that, travel and moving around the country is a part of what I have done traditionally on behalf of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the nation. And so it's just been a pleasure for me to do that, an honor for me to serve in that way. And I'm just very glad to have had the chance to do it.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
here's my questions. I have so many of them. So when you travel like that, do they pay for it or you have to pay for it yourself?
Well, basically, if I'm invited to come a place, then of course the unwritten laws of hospitality would say, of course, you send for me, I come based on your invitation. But
Period.
as I move around the country on behalf of the nation, I'm performing a function for the nation. So the logistics of that travel is handled by the organized entity. When I'm traveling on my own behalf or on my private business, if you will, it's not unusual for me to stop in and do something for the nation in the area which I'm visiting, and so I'm always happy to do that. I love the inspiration that comes. I love the spirit, the drive, the idea in our minds that something is better and something is possible and something is greater and we should reach for it and we should work together to achieve it. So that's it. I can't see the screen. Them letters is real
Lindsay
small.
said Brother Jamil has an amazing way with words. And I agree. I think that's why your speeches are so effective that Jared was talking about. My other question is what called you to the Nation of Islam versus just Muslim in general? Like what made you want to join the nation?
hmm
And
Well,
you were really young.
a couple of things. The message of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad resonated with me as early as the first time I decided to stand up and strive to be a Muslim. That was in 1969. And in 1969, in the communities where I had lived at that point in Cincinnati, Ohio, and Washington D.C., there was a clear message put forward by the Nation of Islam, and there weren't a lot of other Muslim communities that I knew of. But when I heard that message put forward by Minister David Bacha in Cincinnati at Mosque number 5 that day in 1969, as a young sprout, if you will, I said, okay, that's for me. And so here I am. And I certainly I don't decry any other Muslim for their expression of their particular viewpoint on the revealed word of God and the expression of Islam and the expression of religion. For me, to argue over such things is the height of folly. But for me, the idea is let's choose the points upon which we can unite. And let's choose the points around which we can disagree. can rally. Let's pull together and create the very best scenario, the very best possibility for us to create revolutionary change among our people and for our people. And I mean our people, not just Black people in America, but people who are oppressed all over the planet. So for me, that's been a lifelong striving, a lifelong goal. And yeah, I'm enjoying life every day. I got up this morning, looked out the window, I saw these pretty red flowers over there. It was a bunny rabbit sitting in the yard. He out there
A
just
bunny
chilling, man,
rabbit?
enjoying. Yeah, a bunny rabbit looking at me like, "What you want?" I said, "Man, you better get out my lawn." He said, "Not yet." So there we go. Just a regular day. And I'm just happy for every single day. Grateful, joyous, filled with happiness, and filled with gratitude and appreciation to just be here and to be with you all this morning. Man, look at that. Look at my brother. Look at him. You know he handsome. Look at him with his headphones on and stuff. Look at him. Jared, give him the side view. They ain't ready for it. Give him the y'all wasn't ready for it. Go ahead, little bro.
Like, yo. Okay, someone in the chat, I can't find the message, but someone asked, can they get an update on the Nation of Islam? I'm not sure if you have one, but if you have one, can we get one?
That's a very general question. The Nation of Islam's alive and well and performing its function to the best of its ability. Our function, of course, is to spread the message of freedom, justice, and equality, of hope, of life, of benefit, of success, of progress, of all of that to our people in America. We're doing that. The Nation of Islam is in good hands and in strong stride and moving quickly toward the goals. And we're hopeful that we will be able at any point, at some point, to find common ground with other organized entities, which may see things a little differently in terms of philosophy and politics and religion, but around which points can we unite? Let's find that question. Let's unite and build the entity. I love the fact that on the Remix Morning Show, let me clean my glasses. Certain analog map readers have to clean their glasses. Paper map, paper
Shout out
map
I
to the
readers.
paper.
use apps.
Shout
Triple,
out to the paper map squad.
triple A, triple A map union
Yeah.
readers. Oh, hey,
Hashtag
y'all.
paper maps.
See, y'all got paper
Make a
maps.
left. Make a left on Tremont. Make a left on
Here you
Tremont.
go. Go down to the church's chicken and hang a slight right. You know what I mean? But we are moving together to do great things, Amber. And I'm grateful for that opportunity. People
What's the
say,
latest? My bad.
no, I was just gonna say people may have a tendency to think that optimism is inherently corny. They
I don't.
believe they believe some people that to be hopeful is to be in a gauzy, clouded, nebulous, you know, some kind of stupor. But no, I'm optimistic with clear vision. I'm here with eyes wide open, and I believe in the ultimate victory of good over evil, and I fight every day. I'm what you call a joyous soldier. I feel good and I'm happy to get out here and make it happen every day. Sometimes I don't have to do anything revolutionary, manifesto, politically written on the page. Sometimes just is revolutionary to give a person who has thoughts so low of themselves a warm greeting and a hearty smile. Sometimes it's revolutionary just to say to people, "How you doing?" and to genuinely wait for them to answer and react to them on the basis of the truth of their situation and work things out together as brothers, as friends, as neighbors. So for me, those are the things that are the building blocks of my daily experience, and that helps me to put forward the things that need to be put forward every day.
Yeah, I think more people should embrace optimism. Because someone in the chat also said that people, because sometimes we'll say optimism is more like being naive, and I don't agree. I think
Mhm,
that optimism is like what actually helps movements continue. And if we face things in a way where we're just always pessimistic or always skeptic about something and never like really pushing the idea of
mhm,
hope, what could be, you're not
mhm,
going to be able to sustain something. Like you can't sustain a campaign or a movement with like constant pessimism. It just doesn't work that way, which is
mhm,
why I really don't like the chatter on the internet. I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday about the Zoran Mondani nigga because I was like, he hasn't even won for real yet. And like the immediate assumption that he's not going to do any of these things or there's no way they will let that
mhm,
happen in New
mhm,
York. And I was like, why is that your immediate assumption versus saying, he said he's going to do these things. We just hold him accountable and set up a campaign to make sure that happens. Or he says he's going to make that happen. How do we support him and make it happen? How do we show that we support these things? But everybody's just so pessimistic about it.
Mm. So
Well,
really quick, I
go
want
ahead,
to
Geechee.
a
Go
question.
ahead,
I don't
Geechee.
know if this. So as Amber talked about optimism, and I've heard people talk about revolutionary optimism, and then I think I immediately thought about maybe storytelling and being a particular way with your words, as people in the chat, and I also agree you have a way with your words. And then lastly, it kind of goes back to Khalid Muhammad when somebody asked him a question. I think it was Phil Donahue, because he was very like jovial, and it was like, are you a comedian or are you serious about your work? And he was talking about how our people are, he's about inspiration, information.
Mm-hmm.
So I as your brother's a journalist, you are, I think maybe a storyteller with your words, and it's the way that you kind of like package your message. And then I think your father had a particular background to share. So I guess I would just want to know your thought around like what it takes to be a particular way towards people, but also deliver truth without, wavering.
There's no profession in which the truth cannot be delivered. The key issue is, what does the deliverer believe? And when you believe what you believe, you speak it with integrity. You speak it with an unswerving honesty to your particular commitment. I don't know everything. One of the reasons why I love the Remix Morning Show is that every day on this program, every day on Saturdays with Renee, every time I see one of Jared's series, and I got to salute you, Jared, for your series of broadcasts on various different subject matters. And sometimes I'll text my brother. I know I get on his nerves. I'll be like, man, I learned a lot from the show this morning. He'd be like, man, go ahead and watch me tomorrow. I'm busy right now. But either way, no, he doesn't say. He doesn't say.
My boy said, I need
But
my views.
but every single time I sit in front of the device or the monitor or the screen, I put y'all on the big screen over there in the family room so I can see y'all good enough. But if you believe it, you can speak it. What Brother Khalid had working for him there with Phil Donahue or in any other setting is that Khalid was a man of extreme integrity. He spoke what he believed. I strive to have integrity. If I believe a thing, if I understand it, if I can share it, then the best of my relationship to you could be to share with you the best of what I know. And so, therefore, as I learn more, I share more. I ask questions. And again, I have to thank Jared. It's not just, a sibling love fest here, but I have to tell you that my brother answers my questions. He sits with me. We talk. We combine ideas, and we come out usually understanding that there's something that we could do and enhance our ability to access freedom for our people. That's the only thing that matters. Because if you got a theory and I got a theory, Amber, you got a theory, and Geechee, you got another theory, and we all bring our theories down to the corner in the ghetto, and we theory ourselves until we out of breath. But at the end of our theorizing, our people are still hungry, naked, and out of doors, ignorant, blind, deaf, and dumb, no knowledge of self, living in slavery, suffering, and death. Then what the hell have our theories been about? Every theory must be put to the practical test of, does it actually work for the benefit of the people? And the benefit of the people today may not be the ultimate revolutionary goal we seek for far in the future, but we got to begin somewhere. And the old Chinese proverb, Geechee, says that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with what? The first step. So let us take the first step and honor other folks' first steps. It's funny you asked that question, Geechee. Somebody said, well, what should be the journey? What should be the travel route? Well, it depends on where you're starting. We all trying to get to Chicago, but Geechee's starting in Atlanta. He can't go the same way that Jared goes. You down in Memphis, it's easy for you. Hit 55 and hit the gas pedal, right? You can go to Chicago. For me, it's a little bit more difficult coming from an undisclosed location in the Ozarks. You see? So all of these travel strategies have to be different based on where we start
Mhm.
and how we get there. how we get to the same location that we all strive for, work together to help each other get there from where we are. And that's the thing I love about what we do here at the Remix Morning Show.
Aw, okay, someone does have a question that I actually want to know the answer to too. Ashley
Mhm.
Knuckles said, "The Nation of Islam has made huge strides organizing incarcerated people. What's the history on how that strategy was implemented, and how can organizers today learn from how to do it?"
Well, and Mr. or Miss Ashy Knuckles, I hope it's Mr. and not Miss. I
Miss
really do.
Miss Ashley Knuckles.
Miss Ashy Knuckles, bless your heart, honey. Listen, we we started in the penitentiary because the American system creates incarceral realities with behind walls, and it creates invisibly incarceral realities outside of walls. And we are imprisoned in one way or another in almost everything that we do here in the belly of the beast, the wilderness of North America. In the prison system, there's somebody there who loves you and cares about you even in your darkest hour. You know, Jesus writes in the Bible, or not Jesus didn't write anything in the Bible, but they quote him to say that if you come and see about somebody when they're sick, or in the hospital, or in the prison, or languishing in poverty, or dealing with distress, then you're actually doing the work of God. So, Ashy Knuckles, the way that we did that was our brothers and sisters who were incarcerated received a letter from us, and sometime they wrote us back, and we wrote them, and the dialogue continued. As in the case of Minister Malcolm, whose letters, Jared, you pointed out with us in 1950, he wrote to a brother there in Detroit about jazz music and about the artists who were popular in the day. I think it was on March the 9th of that year when that letter was written. I have it upstairs, and I really appreciate my brother Jared sharing that research with me. But those letters humanize our brothers and sisters who had been dehumanized in the prison system. And if they want to follow the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we extended that to them as a lifeline at the darkest hour of their life. And so that's the way it goes, sister. And now, under the uh, current organizational manifestation of that in the Nation of Islam Prison Reform Ministry is active today. And because of the Nation of Islam, and I love how many of the guests who come on this program will tell you that whether they subscribe to the particular religious aspect of the teachings of the messenger, they are giving credit that if it weren't for the Nation of Islam brothers, the FOI in the prisons, standing up and fighting for the rights of the prisoners to have their own religious and philosophical ideas, then we might not be where we are today. And so the Nation of Islam Prison Reform Ministry is active, bringing brothers and sisters out of that condition and into functional roles in the society where they can be home with their families. And so we're working to do that everywhere. And that's a part of it. I hope that says something to your question, Sister Ashy, and helps us to understand the question a little bit better.
Yeah, that was a great breakdown. Just a quick question. FOI, what does that stand for?
The Fruit of Islam, that's the name given the military training of men who belong to Islam in North America. The
Okay.
female equivalent of that is the Muslim Girls Training and General Civilization class, the MGT and GCC. The sisters that you see on Sunday afternoons gliding effortlessly through your community in the beautiful long white garments. That's the training of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And if you couldn't tell already, I'm a very happy and proud citizen of this mighty nation of Islam. I love it, and I love what we do, and I love what I've seen happen in my life and the lives of my family and other friends of ours who um, embrace this lifestyle. And I certainly would not ever proselytize. That's not what I'm about. But if you want a slice of bean pie, come on over to the house.
So funny. Okay, I appreciate that. I've seen people. My friend Kareem is in the
Mhm.
nation, and he like posted about FOI before when they were like in Chicago at the big thing y'all do. But I just never like,
Kareem Ali, you mean Kareem Ali?
yeah,
Everybody know brother Kareem from Memphis. That's my man.
I love Kareem. We
That's
got a
my
little
man.
locked in. That's my homie.
Yeah,
But yeah,
please extend to him my warm greetings. Tell him I send my love to him and his family. family, and yeah, Kareem's a good brother.
He is. I will. He posted about it one time, and I wanted to ask him what FOI meant, and I just forgot because it was his sons were there at that time. They were in their like gear and stuff. I was like,
Hmm.
look at the babies.
Hmm. They were in their blue uniforms.
And I
Hmm.
think they
They were
had
probably.
on what's the
Hmm.
like a darker brown color.
Different on different occasions, just like in the military. Jared was in the Navy, and Jared, I'm not, again, not just because he's my little brother, but he tall and handsome, so he could wear the dress blues, he could wear the Navy shipside whites, he could come in with different uniforms on if he was representing the Navy. Same it is with the military and the Nation of Islam. At occasions, different occasions and different seasons of the year, the uniform will change color or particular composition.
So
That makes
brother Jamil, I got another question. I'm curious. I don't think I've ever done much research on it.
Hmm.
I might have heard Farrakhan talk a little bit about
You say you heard Minister
politics.
Far? You say you heard Minister Farrakhan talk about what? I'm sorry.
Talk a little bit about like political parties or independent electoral work, and so I hear the military.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but what are, I guess, what is some Nation of Islam's line on joining a independent political party or
Hmm. Hmm.
developing something like that?
Sure, that is the right of every individual Muslim. And Jared, you catch everything, but that's the right of every individual Muslim to join or ascribe to the political principles of any particular party. You could do that. It is the basic condition or position of the nation, rather, that we do not invest all of our hope for the future in the political system of America. One of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's premier books, there are five of them that are the basic canon, if you will, of the position of the Nation of Islam. Message to the Black Man in America, How to Eat to Live, Book One, How to Eat to Live, Book Two, The Fall of America, and Our Savior Has Arrived. Note that one title of the book is The Fall of America. And so we are not vested in the continuance of America. Instead, we are committed to the concept and idea and reality that we must work to create a new reality where we govern ourselves in a nation of our own. The political process of the American system as it stands today is not something with which we are unfamiliar. We do believe that voting has its benefits if you do it at the local level, the state level, the county level. Sure, much of American presidential politics is performative, as you know, and certainly without getting into the specifics of it, because I'm not here, of course, to talk about, Geechee, the specifics of today's politics, but I will tell you theoretically, the Nation of Islam has members who are members of particular parties, who participate in politics in one way or another. There's certain local officials and county officials, state officials who are members of the Nation of Islam. But in no case do they say that that is a panacea to the problems of our people, nor is it a solution ultimately to the problems of having been enslaved and then robbed of our names, our language, our culture, our religion, our folkways, our norms, and everything that would give us a semblance of a whole people. We have been robbed and spoiled, and we have to accept that. And when we accept that, then we turn now to rebuild ourselves and get up. And we do not expect our enemies to participate in any way in the wholesome resurrection of a people that they themselves conspired to destroy. No, their conspiracy to destroy us has been thwarted. It has been frustrated. It has been stopped and interrupted in its tracks. And so now we're beginning to rebuild a sense of who we are for ourselves. And we are grateful every day for the coming of the teacher of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the great Master Fard Muhammad, who gave us the spark that is turning the light on in our minds and connecting us to other of our brothers and sisters who may have revolutionary ideas that come from other sources, but we all working together now. Imagine how beautiful that is. When you come from one position, some would call themselves political leftists, others would call themselves revolutionaries. Some would call themselves Some would call themselves socialists. Others would communists. Others would call themselves scientific socialists or members of the All African People's Revolutionary Party. Some would say scientific socialism, one Africa, united all over the place. Whatever the cry is, if it is for freedom from the hand of this no good colonizing, enslaving, white supremacist beast that crawled up out of the caves and hillsides, if that's what it's for, then let's break his power. Let's first unite and separate, and then we can work out the politics. But I'll be damned if I sit at the table and determine whether you black enough for me to be with. You my brother and my sister. I'll be damned if I sit at the table and tell you I reject you on the basis of some minutia and some kind of nuance of politics and understanding and scholarship. I love how y'all do that. Y'all are scholars. Bless your heart. I'm not a scholar. I'm just a regular black dude. As you can see in my tag under my name, what does it say that I do? Can you read it out loud for
The
me?
chief hugger and vibe spreader. And I,
That's what
for
I
one,
do, man.
love it because I feel like you give amazing hugs.
Man, that's what we got to do. Jared will tell you. I used to hug Jared when he's a little baby, but his diaper, man, stayed heavy. The man had his diaper. Don't tell that story, Jared.
Wait,
Okay.
wait, is that how you say Jared full of shit? Because that's wild.
No, because he wasn't full of it because it got out of him. It got out of him now. I'm telling you, it got out of him. You know. And Mama Arnett used to tell me, Chipper, go ahead and change Jared's diaper. I said, damn, I gotta change it again. But that's my
I just
brother.
want to read this comment. Somebody said, "Damn, I love my seals, but Brother Jamil set a new bar." And people also said they love how Jerry gushes when you compliment him. And I agree. It's so cute.
Well, love starts wherever it is. It is natural to occur in families, among siblings, and in nuclear family units. But imagine this. What if we begin to spread this love first in the nuclear family, then maybe to the cousins and aunties and uncles and play cousins, neighbors, and Bobo and them around the corner. Maybe we can start loving each other as a people and create the basis of unity and love that will allow us to overcome. You know, we tried everything politically, religiously. We tried everything organizationally. We tried everything in terms of our individual expression. I got a right to be me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. We tried it all. The one thing we have not tried effectively is the unity of our people with
Come on.
respect for people who sit across from us at the table and may not see things the exact same way as we do. But guess what? Maybe we can unite and find the one part of the Venn diagram that overlaps and then settle on that part and begin to cultivate it so we can expand the overlap over time.
Mhm.
Maybe that's something that we could do. I know I'm speaking theoretically. There's a lot of eye rolling going
I
on in
mean,
the
I think
chat.
that everything
Chat.
starts with theory. You got to start with a theory to get what you actually
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
Somebody asked a question, but I don't know how to say this word. Jared, can you read this?
Does brother Jamil give elocution lessons?
What does
if you my,
elocution
if you
mean?
one of my grandchildren, I'll tell you how
Uh,
to say your ABCs. You know, but no, you all don't need any elocution lessons. You say what you want to say. When it comes from the right place, everybody understand it. It'll be all right.
Okay, this other question is from Rad. They said, "What's the nation's position on police brutality?"
We're against it.
That's enough for me. All right, next question. I do want to ask you about this because you just said something about the nuclear family. So, when you say the nuclear family, what does that mean to you?
To me, mama and daddy and Cookie and Junior and them, sitting around being a nuclear family.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mom and daddy,
So, you
Cookie and
believe in a
Junior.
nuclear family? Like, you think that, that's how families should be structured?
I do. I do.
And so, how do you feel about,
Based on my understanding of what I read in history and scripture and in the cultural expression of our people. There are variations, of course, of that, but I do believe in the nuclear family as a unit, and I believe that a wholesome, healthy nuclear family will help us along the road to our freedom, justice, and equality because it was an intentionality that caused the breakage of the traditional nuclear family. The breakage, whatever the slave master forbade us, I want back. Whatever the slave master said we couldn't have, might be some good in it for us. And whatever the slave master gave us, a pot of chitlins or some damn neck bones, whatever he gave us, gave us, it ain't good. But whatever we were denied by him, we hope and pray to reclaim. And the nuclear family is one of those things.
So how do you feel about like this current movement around people who aren't like taking the traditional route? Like a lot of people aren't having children, a lot of folks aren't getting
Mhm.
married, they don't like traditional relationships. And I think that is exactly the opposite of what you're saying, but also kind of is combating with like what society wants to. Oh, somebody said, wait, not too much on the neck bones.
Y'all keep them neck bones if you want to, but I might be busy that week you in the hospital. I might not be able to come and visit you there, but you going to the hospital. You gonna be up in there. Neck bones.
I don't eat
What was
neck
your
bones,
question?
but
What
that's
was your
just
question, sister?
I'm saying, how did you feel about the like? I think it's a natural like progression or transformation in how some people view family. Like, not as
Hmm.
many people are getting married, not as many
Hmm.
folks are having children, not as many people are having getting married to the people that they have children with. Like, a lot of folks are co-parenting in some way. Some people are choosing, like some women are choosing to have a child and co-parent with their girlfriends because they want
Hmm.
children, but they're not married and they're getting later in age and they just want to be able to like have that kind of legacy. So they're building the family that they want.
That is an interesting observation, and certainly I respect all the people make the choices that they make. I believe in the qualities. I believe in the unit and the structure of the family. I believe that when marriage is present, outcomes are better for children who are reared in two parent families. I believe that. Our family was different. We had parents who were not in the same household, right? And we had to overcome obstacles to make whatever impact we have made in the world today in our professions or in our chosen avocations. However, the exception should not be mistaken for the rule. In families where there is not a father and a mother and the children under one roof living together, the outcomes are different. I'm not. I don't want to be like Ted Cruz and be all wrong about the statistics, but I can tell you that I can't cite them specifically in terms of the incarceration rates. But most of our brothers that are incarcerated, as the earlier question went into, most of them come from single parent homes. Many of the families, which the social structure is designed to encourage, those families experience benefits in terms of everything from inheritance court to divorce, division of property, and everything else. It becomes a safer place for marriage, for the dignity of black men and women. Yes, dignity. I don't say that you can't be dignified if you're not married, because I'm not a knucklehead. But I will say that dignity and the opportunity to address the society from a position of respect comes with marriage and family. Now, this does not mean that's the only reason. Y'all get out the chat calling me a reactionary, old school, gray haired knucklehead.
Wait, did they say that for real? Let me go see.
Well,
No, they
no,
did. No,
no.
they
So
did
I,
not.
I,
No,
I
they did.
think, I think this is an interesting spin of a conversation or direction. But as I hear both of y'all talk, I'm wondering if there's there's an argument that there's uh there's two people that genetically bring you together, and the
Mm-hmm.
argument is that it's necessary that those people have a healthy relationship. However, it's defined. It's
Mm-hmm.
necessary that those two people have a healthy relationship and they
Mm-hmm.
interact with you,
Mm-hmm.
who was created out of those. They're coming together in a healthy
Mm-hmm.
way. However, that look, is it safe to kind of make that argument as opposed to?
Yeah, I think my actual follow-up response is going to be similar to what people are saying in the chat. I actually don't think it's about the two-parent house, like about
Mm-hmm.
a two-parent household not having the same outcomes as folks who are in single-parent households. Because the statistic you mentioned about more people going to jail who are in single-family homes, I think about how they're usually in poverty, and it's more of a class
Mm-hmm.
issue. It has, to me, it doesn't have anything to do with the person being in a single-parent home. It has more to do with like that person not having, as a single parent, not having enough resources for their
All
child,
of those
and so other
things.
things happen.
Exactly right, Amber. All of those things are connected. We can agree that class and race and poverty and marital status status are all elements in the bitch's brew that provides the recipe that sends our brothers and sisters into those positions. That we cannot say, oh no, it's this or it's just that. No, we have to be able to examine all of it. Those things are interconnected. What's the new word in social science? Intersectionality. That's they have that intersectionality. Y'all all right? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, who called you? Somebody called you.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't know if you heard. Can you all? I can't hear you.
We can hear you.
You don't hear
Let me
us?
see how I can do this.
They probably locked out you.
I can hear you now, Geechee. You
Okay.
said probably locked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay,
you good.
good. Okay. Darn you, StreamYard. Okay,
Someone
no.
else said, "Brother Jamil, you're an excellent communicator." And I agree. I love talking to people who communicate in similar ways that I do because it's very clear and not as much like, randomness in the air. I feel like I truly get the point that you're trying to make, and it makes it easier for me to debate it with you.
Well, I don't know if debate is my object. I come here
Really
specifically
discussion.
with the idea in mind to find communion. I literally look for commonality. I come into every situation looking for a way to create agreement because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that agreement is the basis for love. You can't have love if disagreement is the order of your exchange. After a while, you pull apart and love cannot be established. But our people need love. I'm not Dionne Warwick, but I do agree from Backrack and David that what the world needs now is love, sweet love. If we
Dionne
lose,
Warwick be on Twitter, and it's the funniest thing I ever seen in my life because I said, "Who put her on? Who gave her an account?" She be like messaging people and commenting on stuff, and it's so funny.
bless her heart, she's a nice lady.
Oh,
I
someone,
know.
hold on. Bushmeat said to let you know that that comment was from your childhood schoolmate Bushmeat.
Well, Bushmeat is my childhood schoolmate, one of my best friends in life forever. He used to live down on West Park Drive. We lived around the corner on Clinton Springs, and we ride bikes together. But after third grade, because you can't really just ride 'em around when you're in first grade. But third grade, we could ride all over the neighborhood and around. But he's grown into a great scientist and scholar, a musicologist, a historian, and a professor now at George Mason University. It was Bushmeat. A lot of people don't know this. Of course, he wrote The Execution of Sun Ra, the great book about Sun Ra, the jazz pianist and band leader. And Bushmeat, Dr. Thomas Stanley, beautiful cat, man. He's a beautiful brother. And it was he who found the mothership that you see in the Smithsonian African American History Museum, where you go up on the fourth floor and you look and you see
Oh,
George Clinton,
really?
the mothership. Yeah, he was the one who actually found the actual physical, the original mothership. And
So
so
wait a minute, wait a
You
minute,
never
wait
told
a
me this.
minute. First of all, I didn't know Thomas Stanley. So all these years, hold up. First
yeah,
of all,
yes,
Professor
yes.
Stanley, you not saying hello to me too
Yes,
after
he
all
is, Jeff.
these years? And then second of all, I did not know you two grew up together. How come why all these years of interaction, why would he have not ever made that? Why would what is
He's going to tell you. I don't know
wow.
what it
Bushmeat
Wow.
is.
You
said he
introduced
introduced me to my wife. I'm forever grateful to this man.
Yeah, yeah. It's let me
so
tell you. Let me tell you about that's a great story, Jared. But let me tell you, I
now go
was going
ahead.
to I was going to pottery class up at All Souls Church on 16th Street.
Period.
Yeah, I was a senior at Howard. Then I was going to pottery, and pottery helped me, my mind and everything. And so I would go up. Stop laughing, Geach. So I would go. I was going to pottery class
I
to get
love
on the
pottery. He
wheel
a hater.
and work my wheel, do my pottery. And one
Yeah,
day, Tommy came down to campus. He said, "Man, what we gonna do this afternoon?" I said, "Well, man, whatever we do, we're gonna do it after pottery class." I said, "Come on, take me over to pottery class." He said, "Man, I'm not going to no pottery class, man. That sounds, what is that? That sounds crazy." But we went and we walked in the door and he saw Paula, and the rest is history. Paula was my friend and classmate at Howard, and they connected, and the rest is really history. And so it's just good to be able to have something to do with some watershed events in the lives of people that I love. So to him and to his wife and the children, and Yeah, and of course to Tommy's parents, they helped to raise me. Yeah, Thomas W. Stanley,
I
and
love
Mrs. Jones
that.
Stanley. That's my family.
Jared, you gotta read the
Yeah,
comments. You can't take them down. You gotta read them
yeah.
No,
first.
all the comments are just joking me, saying,
I'll
that
read
I
them.
should,
Zinzi said, Geechee and Jared, y'all might as well go have breakfast or something. And then
I am. I am.
That's all right. And I want to say a special shout out to Zenzi. I appreciate you, sister. When you come into this seat, this hot seat, you set a good example for those of us who are not regularly on the Rebinks Morning Show, but who love this program, this community, these brothers and sisters who bring the very best of their communication and information to us in a topsy-turvy world like this. And when you come and sit here, Zenzi, it's always inspirational. It's always quite spicy, and it's
come on.
always good for us, and we appreciate that. You are an example that there's much finer womanhood ahead for our people. Hmm.
Period. Because she is
There
Ada.
you go. And
Hmm.
just to co-sign again, Professor Stanley's book on Sunrise is excellent. So
Hmm.
folks should check that
Brother
out, and we
Jamil,
should,
someone
yeah.
said,
Mhm.
do you know Carlos Muhammad from Temple Number 6 in
Of
Baltimore?
course.
Wow.
Yes, I know that is
Yeah.
his name is now Imam Abdul Salam Muhammad, brother Carlos Muhammad. And if that's the one you're talking about, there's another brother Carlos in
Imam
Baltimore.
is someone who heads to mosque or temple or whatever, right?
An imam is a brother who is spiritually responsible for a community of Muslims practicing the faith. He leads prayers, he provides counseling and advice according
See,
to
I be
Islam.
knowing.
You do know, and in fact, when these things occur and unfold, Imam Salam is one of the very best he in the country. The former minister Carlos, as his name was, of course, there, who was my immediate successor in the role of the minister of Mosque number 6 in Baltimore. So I have a special place in my heart for him as that. But he's also the national archivist of the Nation of Islam, who pulls together artifacts and historic pieces from all over the country, contextualizes them, brings them into a great historical narrative of this great nation of Islam that I love so much. So, yes, to the questioner, I do know and love my brother. He's the
Did you serve at that mosque too? Because I remember Jared said you did a tour and they were in Baltimore.
I did serve at that mosque. I served as the minister there between 1988 and 1994.
Dang, I
Uh,
wasn't even born yet.
yeah, in 1988 to 1994,
I was born in
served there.
1994, so towards the
Hmm.
end.
Served there in Baltimore. And of course, I love the great Charm City. Love it a great deal. Baltimore's a beautiful place.
John said, I'm still looking for our Amber show. Don't you worry, John. I have updates later. And also, guys,
Mhm.
if y'all want to leave, you can. Me and Brother Jamil, we're just having a moment. I just
No, I'm enjoying my front row seat.
Damn.
very locked in. What was my other? So someone else in the chat was mentioning like family support and how the nuclear family, they understand that, but also like
Mhm.
family in general don't have the same support. It was Zinzi. Zinzi talked about how like extended family isn't as close as it used to be because of the way like the world is and people are just so far away. And I kind of
Mhm.
experienced that. Like I grew up in a generational home, but
Mhm.
then when we moved out of my grandma's house, I wasn't super close like to her,
Mhm.
and so it wasn't the same. And my mom really like relied on friends and like the relationship she had. So I definitely felt like the like support from community members. I know what that feels like to not be from just like your parent, but also from like feeling like your family is also your community too. And I feel like if you have that kind of support, it's not the same as a nuclear family, but it has the same benefits. Like I felt the same benefits. I've never felt
Mhm.
like, unloved. I only
Mhm.
went to jail as an adult, never as a
Mhm.
child,
Mhm.
I feel like I got what I needed. And I see so
Mhm.
many other people like have the same thing. Like I have a god baby and I like take her places and do stuff with her and make sure that her and her siblings know that like she has extended family, like she has extended support. And I think that that's okay.
And it is. Whatever has to get done gets done. We as a people have the marvelous gift of resourceful repurposing of whatever falls into our hands or our control. We make it work. We know, to the commenter earlier, we do know that in our common sense, we know that we should not eat filthy food. We know that we should not But if that's all we had, we made it taste like it was palatable. And we then ate it and we survived until we learned better. In the case of our families, where the family is broken and fractured and stratified, then we have to find a way to make something work for the good of the children. I had a brother come to me, he was during a time of service out in the Bay Area. He came to me with tears in his eyes. He was upset. He was in a quandary because he had went to uh, marry a sister. And when he approached her family, she lived in the family unit with her grandmother, her mother, herself, and her children. But there were no men in the family that stayed beyond making the children. And when the brother came to the sister, they had to have been in their 30s, I guess, at this time. And when he asked her to marry him, the mother said something that I thought was very interesting and stuck with me. She said, "Why would you marry that man and break up our family?" I thought that was unusual.
That's a
That the
toxic
estab-
way to view.
it's a toxic point of view, but it happens perhaps more than you or I might suspect,
Mhm.
because the families have become used to dealing in the world that surrounds them with the social services system, the welfare system, the housing authority, the police, the neighbors, the underworld, the people next door, pastor down at the church, this all these other things that are happening around them, and they carve out a place
Mhm.
and they stay in that place, whether that place is ideal or not. And when you come to them to say, maybe we could do something different, they'd rather be undisturbed in their dysfunction
Mhm.
than
They
to
become
disturb their
complacent.
dysfunction and build something new that they don't know about. So we have some challenges in Black America. Those challenges, and you say, well, my stuff ain't that bad. Now, I'm talking about all of us, because remember, when we first came on this morning, we agreed that everybody bringing something to the table, and that the Venn diagram is bound to expand when we find out how much more we have in common. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's what happens. And so the nuclear family, the extended family, the non-traditional family, what are the outcomes in those cases? They remain to be seen. But we do know historically as a fact that our captors, our tormentors, our enslavers made a specific point to deny us the human right to create a family. They made a specific point to break our family in barbaric ways, selling children away from their mothers and selling parents away from their children and stretching our families out to be geographically who knows where. They did that on purpose. And so
Mhm.
for us to build a strong Black family with mom and daddy, Cookie and Junior and them, when they build that family, that is an act of revolution. And for that, you don't have to wear a fatigue jacket. You don't have to wear a bullet belt around your chest. You don't have to put any particular insignia. You just have to love your family and love them up into greatness and achievement and accomplishment. For the revolution of our people is not just to be waged at some far off point in the future. It happens every day. When you look at my nieces that live right there in Columbia in these leafy shady streets of Columbia, Maryland, with Jared and his lovely wife, they are being loved into revolutionaries. They're not being taught revolutionary doctrine every day. Well, they are. Okay, but nevertheless, they're strong, and their ability to do anything they want to do has been firmly established in them from the beginning. That's an act of revolution. And I believe that I tried to do the same thing with my children as well. And now my grandchildren, you know. I was talking to my grandson last night. He can't really make a whole lot of good words, but that's my main man. So we just talk on
How
FaceTime.
old is
And
he?
he's 16 months.
Oh,
So he can't really talk that good, but he can say pop pop, you know. The only word that really counts.
that is.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I would say I don't fully agree with the nuclear family just because I think it excludes people, but I do agree that people can become complacent in where
Mhm,
they are, and
mhm,
that sometimes it takes someone to like just do something different to break that cycle. And my sister
mhm,
and I did that a lot. My mom was like always like when I would just take a job in a different city and move, she'd be like, "That's so crazy,
mhm,
you just don't leave." I said, "Yeah, I can." Like I don't have to stay here. I feel like people should just do what they want.
Hmm.
And I think people do become very complacent in where they are and what they're used to doing, which can limit
Hmm.
things they could try, but they
Hmm.
just don't want to take that risk. And I love a good
Hmm.
risk. So I'd be like, fuck it. It's fine.
Well, I got good news for you, Amber. The nuclear family, as I understand it, does not exclude anyone. The nuclear family encourages the inclusion of people who will build that institution and connect it with other families that may not be of the same shape or of the same form. But nothing in the nuclear family, as I understand it, from reading the scripture and reading the understanding of that I have of it, doesn't give you, it doesn't rule anybody out. What it does is includes those people who are willing to take those steps in that way. And so it's good news. There's no exclusion.
I more so
It-
mean the way
Mhm.
that some people are very strict about how they push the ideas of the nuclear family on people. Not you, but some folks are a little like real strict with it. And I feel like that can be exclusionary to folks who don't necessarily agree with it. I think that you approach it in a good way that makes it easier for folks to understand and also be willing to, like, adapt, because you aren't doing it in a very harsh or
Mhm.
rigid way.
The Holy Quran gives us instruction as Muslims. It says, call to the way of thy Lord with a goodly exhortation, right? And then it says, when you have to argue, argue with them in the best manner, which means that when you debate these issues, Thomas Jefferson said that the ideas of a society are sharpened in the theater of public debate. Then surely if you have to debate, then you argue in the best of manner. I don't believe in this cancellation. If I get one thing over you in an argument, then you're destroyed and never to be taken seriously and get out and banished and done away with. No, if I find something in your argument, I see you as a sincere worker for the freedom of our people. I find something in your argument that I see may be somewhat unintentionally specious or fallacious in your argument. I'm gonna go behind the closed doors, pull your coat, and say, bruh, if you add this to the argument, you can strengthen what you do, and more people will hear it, and more people will see it, and we can expand it to other people. Because I think you got something good there. Really? You didn't blow me out and bust me out and blow up my spot in public? You didn't try to humiliate me in an argument to show that you were smarter? Then maybe I can do that. Because to me, it is irrelevant who wins the argument in the barbershop and who appears to be the smartest person in any gathering. Damn that. Our people are still on dope. Our people are still out of doors and negative and hungry and savage in their behavior. And something has to happen that can
Period.
cause us to improve our condition. And everybody who has an element to add to that, I say to you that under the leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and certainly in my experience, those voices are welcome to come to the table and to become a part of the solution of what will ultimately be the solution to the problems of the now more than 40 million so-called American Negroes, our brothers and sisters who are in America and in the diaspora and on our home continent. We are one a continent. We are one family, one people, as Marcus Garvey said, one God, one aim, one destiny. So
You
we
eating,
must.
brother Jamil? You eating them up? I'm loving it. I do want to post some of these comments because they were funny. First, Denzi said in response to what you said that I'm gonna be floating for the rest of the day. And then Monty said,
My
"Oh, we
sister.
love our resident Zeta." And then Love I Am said, "Thank you, brother Jamil. You really helped me quell my knowledge and trauma-based prejudice around religious people. I think I will go to church this weekend."
Well, bless your heart. Carry um, get grandma's tambourine off the top shelf. Take that with you. Take Big Mama's tambourine and get one of them fans that you fan yourself because it's June. It's about to be July. You in church this Sunday. Get that fan. They got the picture of the white Jesus on one side and the funeral home on the other side. Okay. And just fan yourself with that and stay cool. But whether you go to church, whether you go to the mosque, whether you go to the tabernacle, the temple, I don't care. But wherever you go, develop your spirit. Develop your intellect, develop your character, develop yourself as a human being to accept the best in other human beings and call for it and require it and give your best in exchange. And then I'm telling you, some things will start happening. Y'all can take it from the old head if you want to, but I earned every one of these silver hairs up in here. earned these bad boys. I had to work. Amber, these last three, they came from you over the last few weeks on the show.
I can
So
believe it.
these I earned. And I want you all to know that there is what the scripture calls a balm in Gilead, a
Come
balm,
on.
a salve, a healing, something to change the condition of our lives. No, I'm not being idealistic. No, I'm not being dreamily optimistic. What I'm telling you is that solutions do exist because the mind of our people is the place where they're created. There
Mm,
is no mystery God. Ain't no spook and haint about to float down in the sky and blow smoke on you, and all of a sudden a miracle changes you. No, men make things happen. Women make things happen. Everything has as to submit to the law of cause and effect. And so when cause and effect are in place, then the cause that we work for must have a commensurate effect in
mhm.
the lives of the people for whom we labor. That's all I'm saying.
I agree, and I really try to approach my organizing from that way. I also want to say I know you got at least two more gray hairs when I went to jail and you found out Jerry didn't check on me. I know that was you.
Actually, no, no, no. Jared always checks on you. In fact, when we speak to each other, he says to me, "Hey, bro, how you think Amber's doing today?" I said, "Bro, she's doing fine. I'm sure. I feel it in the universe." And then we reach out, and then but our concern is when Geechee is out there on the island, we got to look out for our brother too. You know what I mean? We got to look out. Geechee, you all right, man? Everything's good with the phone. Everything's all right. Everything good?
No, man, I can't get into my iCloud, so I don't got no apps, no
Man
nothing.
can't get into his iCloud.
Yeah.
So let me just say, in the spirit of all religious people who can't get into their iCloud, nobody knows the troubles I see. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, that was. I'm sorry. We gonna make it. We gonna make it, y'all. We gonna make it.
Um,
I did see because I didn't know I had so much interest in this conversation and hearing different perspectives around nuclear family.
Hmm.
And I had a point that I wanted to make, but I can't remember. But I also know I saw a Ricky question here. Who I'm sorry, I highlighted it.
You talking about my
Uh,
hero, Ricky Ryan,
yeah,
Harrison Kane?
everybody's hero. Wait, where's it at? How did I lose it? Oh boy.
Don't lose it, brother. What a great intellectual and spiritual motivational resource she is to have in our community. Hmm.
Wait, I'm sorry, Ricky. Where
There
is
was a
it?
long question. I couldn't
Oh
see it
yeah,
on the
that was it,
screen.
right?
Okay. Could
Yeah,
someone
that's
read it?
it.
I
That was
can't
it. That
read.
was it.
yeah, it says, Brother Jamil, when you speak about the slave masters denying the nuclear family, has there been any consideration to how and why those slave masters established nuclear families? Have you read Ingalls?
In terms of Engels' histories in economics, I have not been familiar enough with that writing to comment on it here. I know that, Ricky, from the effect that we live. And the effect that we live is that division has become our daily stock in trade and not unity. And the division, not it doesn't just stop at the nuclear family. It expands to communities that could be a few miles away from each other. It could be on a neighboring plantation. It could be in a city that's a few miles away, and we don't unite. This unity that has been shot through us like so much poison into our DNA actually deals with the fact you'll hear people in say, "I'm from Baltimore, I'm from DC." Well, I'm from DC, and you Baltimoreans are Bamas, and you Baltimore people think the DC people are crazy and this, that, and other. 35 miles away, 2 million of our people. Imagine what we could do if we united and cooperated in matters of politics and economics and education. So, Ricky, when you say about those things about destroying the nuclear family, I know that your scholarship can enlighten me and help me. So whenever you get a chance, and I know you're busy with BAP and all the other things that you're doing, and the great training that you provide for others, and certainly being a mom to your great son, but whenever you have a chance, you have in me a willing student to hear what you would put forward to me. But I know that in the family was broken. And so we fight against each other from island to island, from nation to nation in the Caribbean. You know, well, I'm from Barbados. No, I'm from St. Kitts and Nevis. No, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. No, no, no. I'm from Jamaica. small island. See what is all that? Read the question on the screen. What's it?
Oh, it says Ricky said Ingalls argues that the nuclear family is established to benefit the capitalist system, not to benefit the family per se.
I hear the argument and I respect it. I believe that what I'm called to do as a Muslim, you see, you get a wife, you get some children, you rear them up in the way, you expand your family, you connect with other families. That is an interesting construct, but I don't know enough about it to say that the nuclear family only benefits the capitalist system. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do know
Yeah.
that in our families, if we were broken from the nuclear family and are living in America without very much of a nuclear family, we certainly not benefited anybody other than capitalism. We not benefiting ourselves. If you look at what happened, the marriage statistics that I lived through in my lifetime, Ricky, I remember coming up out of slavery when marriage was illegal for us. We began to marry and create families because we saw that as a means to improving our material condition. And so by the turn of the 20th century, blacks were the most married segment of the population as a demographic slice. Then in the year 1960, which is a short time after I was born, in the year 1960, marriage was the norm in black communities, with 75% of black households being headed by a husband and a wife, right? And now, if you look at it coming up to the early part of the new millennium, statistics again, and I have to get, I am not Ted Cruz, I'm gonna tell you that right now. I just don't, I didn't know I would be here. It was enough for me just to put on my wig and get to the front of the camera. But I'll get the
Because the buzz
statistics
down
for
look good.
if you, oh yeah, we got, gotta keep it together, you know. But I asked Jared, that wasn't trying to be offensive to you, but it's just some people get the hair in, and so, it happens. So when we go to look at the statistics after the years 1970, after the Great Society and all the things that Johnson did and all that, now 75% of our children are born outside of wedlock. And we have some serious, serious problems in our communities. Now, is marriage the only solution? Certainly no. But it is one of the solutions, I believe, that will begin to make a difference in creating the same family dynamic that Amber talked about, the multi-generational support systems, the fact that we live together in domiciles that include multi-generations for as long as we can, other communities, ethnic communities, and other communities inside the United States who do that have greater economic success than Black people. And they do that, I think, with regard to how they move their families. It has something to do with it. Is it the only ingredient? No. But we do need a pinch of that and a dash of the other to make it work. It's going to have to take some of that as well. So when you see mom and daddy and Cookie and Junior in them, make sure you give them a hug and tell them that you understand what they're trying to do, even if you don't think it's the ultimate solution.
So I think with two things. Thank you for that, and even trying to be in the chat and back and forth. So when I hear you talk about mama and daddy, I
Mm-hmm.
hear you kind of like everybody on this live and whatever has a mama and daddy they can reference,
Mm-hmm.
and either they have healthy or not healthy relationships with. That's
Mm-hmm.
one. But
Mm-hmm.
two, I don't know that we all working with the same definition of what is a nuclear family. I think we just responding based off of how we would define it.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I
And
would
then
what I would say
yeah,
is that it's a simple thing. And for me, again, I'm a Muslim. I'm a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, so I take his light to guide my path. And
Mhm.
his direction says to us that a man marries and he maintains a family that includes his wife and includes his children, and that family is connected to a community which supports the family in the ways that it can support them, not necessarily economically or financially, but it supports them with information and inspiration and encouragement to build a healthy community, to create those healthy relationships. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan once told me, he called me in the office one day and he said, "Brother, I'm tired of doing weddings. I'm not doing them no more. You do the weddings." He said, yeah, I'm gonna do funerals. He said, the person in the casket ain't lying. He said, you're gonna stay dead. The married people, I don't know what they're gonna do. He says, so you tell them these things, that a man, a husband, is responsible to maintain his wife. And he's maintaining her. This does not mean that she's a helpless blob of cytoplasm, unable to do anything for herself. No, but a man maintains his wife in these ways. He said the first thing he must do is maintain her spiritually. He says she has a relationship with her idea of God and her idea of service of him that is separate from yours. You can't get to the gates of heaven and knock on the door and Gabriel and St. Peter come over there and ask you, who is it? And you say, it's me and my wife. No, she has a separate relationship with God than you do. And this relationship with God, my dear brothers and sisters from the agnostic and atheist communities, does not mean with the sky daddy, spook God, mystery, huff a puff of smoke. It means with the highest level of understanding of whatever it is that you hold dear. Spiritually, you have to encourage and uplift your wife. Secondly, you encourage her intellectually. She has ideas about what she thinks and what she believes and what she wants to achieve and accomplish in her life, that you, as a man, saying that you love her, you must maintain her in that. You got to help her with that. Thirdly, you got to remember that you maintain her emotionally. Men do things different. I remember growing up, Geechee, you were a football player. You remember growing up that sometimes, if you, I don't know if you ever played in the defensive backfield, but sometimes you blow a coverage and you come back to the bench and you may meet the DB coach, and sometimes it'll be the head coach, and he'll grab your face mask and get up in your face and tell you, if you blow one more coverage, you'll be sitting on some hard pine until the end of the season, buddy. He'll shout in your face, and whew, it's rough. It's different emotionally. Men are socialized differently and have different capacities. Your woman, your wife, is not a man. You can't holler at her and get in her face and be mean to her. Stop that. And if you
I
want,
mean, he can if he wants to.
well, thank you, Amber. But generally speaking, it is best to treat the woman with a measure of decorum and kindness. And that's what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was talking about.
Oh no, I mean,
Fourthly,
like, if they do it, it's gonna go left for them, but they can always try it.
Fourth, fourth way you maintain her is physically, not just the marriage bed, but also in the housing, the structure. Where do you place her? You want her to create a heaven-like condition in the home for you as her husband. Then where do you put her? You can't have her down over the L tracks with the window busted out and people coming in the house and taking your toaster oven and your clock radio out the window. Can't have that. You got to have something in a way of securing her. And fifthly, he said financially. You maintain her financially. In Islam, what we are taught is that the man's money is y'all's money and that the woman's money is her money.
My bad, that was a mistake. I didn't mean to click that.
I,
Sorry.
I didn't I didn't notice it. But the man's money is y'all's household money. The woman's money is her money. What? Yes. And if a good woman, even if she makes a lot more money than her man in this economy being what it is, if she knows that she has a man who's willing to give his all for his family, she will help him, he will help her, and they'll do that, what we talked about earlier, that resourceful repurposing of the resources that come into their control. They'll make it work for their family because they're working together. They're working in common. So I know it was very lengthy and verbose, Brother Geechee. I'm sorry about that, but the nuclear family, as I see it, I have to be honest about where I got that from. I didn't just come up with an idea. I didn't read it in some other scholastic treatise. I didn't read it in any other tome from a library. I got that as a direct instruction from my leader, teacher, and guide. And so I have to share that with you with appropriate attribution.
No, I appreciate that. I even see brother Josh was saying that this is a progressive read on what Allah says about women in his opinion.
Hmm.
It's fairly patriarchal, which aligns with the capitalist nuclear family. And I even wonder if, I don't know if this is in the weeds, or I wonder if we can talk about liberation theology as it relates to Christianity and
Hmm.
how texts are read and engaged.
Hmm.
Mm.
Why can't
Well,
we?
that could be it. And to Josh's Josh's question, I understand that, Josh. I know that there is a school that says, okay, patriarchy, this the family. I get it. I understand all that. What I'm saying to you, and if you could put Josh's question back up, and I want to hear it again, because again, despite the fact that I have on the no line bifocals, the screen is too small for me to see it. So I just want to look at what Josh's question is, so that we
Salute
can
to the
get it.
no line bifocals.
All right. And what is it Josh's question saying
So
again?
he said this is what you was pretty much saying about the nuclear family, but this is a progressive read on what
Mhm.
Allah says about women, in my opinion.
Now,
It's
Josh,
fairly
stop right there. Stop
okay.
right there. We'll come to the rest of it. I'm going to pause right there. Allah in the Holy Quran is the first and only book of religious scripture to actually codify rights for women, to actually give rights of inheritance and civil policy and procedure to women on a plane with those of men. So it does not discriminate in Islam as properly practiced. And you'll see this in the Nation of Islam. The Nation of Islam could never have been successful in Black America, telling Black women, get in the back, girl, walk 3 steps behind me. Please, it would never have worked at all. And these women in the Nation of Islam, they're not suckers and fools, man. No, 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 no. So there, Allah Himself does not demand the misogynistic discrimination against women that you see practiced in large parts of the religious world in all of those monotheistic so-called Abrahamic faiths, in Islam, Christianity, and in Judaism. There is misogyny and discrimination against women, and it has to be busted up. So, no, what you're hearing now is just what I've been taught, the best of what I can share and recount to you of what I've been taught in these matters. No, no, my dear brother, there's no condemnation of women for being women in the word of Allah. What is the next part of the question, Geechee? What does it say next? Because I still
It
can't
said,
see it.
yeah, it said it's fairly patriarchal, which aligns with the capitalist nuclear family.
All right, I hear you. The patriarchy question, and brother Jared, my brother Jared has a friend that we are meeting, and they're talking. I don't know how often they talk. I just connected them, but the great Dr. Wesley Muhammad, who is a historian and Middle Eastern scholar, and reads on different issues, and yeah, he mentioned to me not long ago, Jared, how much he respected your work. And I know you have said, even in public, how his work was well created and crafted scholastically according to the academic process. So good. There's more Venn diagram to be met upon and expanded between the two of those brothers, between Jared and Dr. Wesley. But one thing Dr. Wesley writes about, which I find fascinating, and I encourage everybody to read it, there are different models of patriarchy. And he talks about Northern Cradle patriarchy and Southern Cradle patriarchy. He was recently a guest of ours. My wife and I have a broadcast like this on YouTube on Thursday nights called Nothing But the Truth with Brother Jamil and Sister Tisha. And Dr. Wesley was with us maybe a
Okay,
month
Sister
ago.
Tisha.
Yeah. Sister Tisha. Whoa, whoa, shout her out. And Dr. Wesley was with us last month, and we asked him that question, Geechee, about patriarchy and what patriarchy is and what it isn't. And I definitely recommend go pull up that show or get your hands on one of Dr. Wesley's books where he deals with the question of Southern cradle patriarchy as being wholesome and nourishing as opposing and protective of women and allowing women to make whatever decisions they want to make without interference from men on the basis of sheer biology and foolishness. No, when you look at that, the patriarchy that we fear is the example that we see oozing down out of the caves and hillsides of Europe and blocking out the light in the global south. That's the patriarchy we don't want.
Period. Mic drop. I really love hearing your takes on things, Brother Jamil, and like just also hearing the ideology and like religious background around it. So thank you for accepting my special request to come on.
I did not know about it until very recently, but I tell you one thing, I'm glad to be here. And I know y'all, and I'm gonna say this again to everybody here and in the undefeated chat. Let me say this as a chat denizen of the chat, a person who's there all the time in the chat. Man, the chat, you the best. Ain't nobody like you. You got it all down, okay? over there. Okay. But yeah, here we are. In the expression of what we have to say this morning, I'm encouraged to find ways that cause us to unite the most disparate elements of our thought. How can we do that? If we can do, see, your enemies can do that. They'll be on different sides of one. I am a cost cutting conservative. I'm a free market liberal. I'm this that they put all kind of labels on themselves, and they disagree with each other over those issues. But one thing they can agree upon is you gonna be on the bottom. You you gonna be down there. We're going to agree. If we agree on nothing else, we can agree that we will be participating in the kinds of activities that make our nation a pox on the entire planet. They agree on that, even if they disagree on other things. Maybe we could try, as we started the program saying, maybe we could try to unite on the basis of shared interests, enlightened, principled self interest for our people, and that we could have a principled unity, not unity with scallywags and ne'er-do-wells, but a unity of purpose and progress with people whose take on ideas is different than our own. But like Josh said, we got to respect one another. When we respect one another, then we can come out with something that we can apply. And when we
Mhm.
can apply it, we can make it work. Because we've always tried to bring everybody over to our side. I'm not doing nothing until y'all all see it my way. And when you come over here to me and my particular philosophy, then we can move forward. In the meantime, I'm not uniting with nobody. That doesn't make very much
That's
sense
right.
to me at all. So we have to make sure we get out of the cancellation area. So to all the people that have said that brother Jamil get on my nerves. He's so all that old cheery, bright stuff. Damn, I hope he stubbed his toe on the nightstand tomorrow night. I hope something bad happened to him. Shh, hush. I don't want nothing bad to happen to you. I want you and your whole family to be successful. I mean, Mama, Daddy, Cookie, Junior, and all of y'all. I want y'all to be
Why are
successful.
their names only Cookie and Junior? Like, you don't have any other
No,
options?
because my imagination is not that great. I do not have much intellect here, and I don't have many words.
You gotta adopt a radical imagination to get you there. You
Okay,
still got time.
Demarcus and Marquisha and everybody, the whole family, everybody.
Jamarcus is crazy.
Yeah, Demarcus. Hmm.
Okay, thanks so much for coming on, Brother Jamil. They need me to go back to the Amber show now because I have updates to give.
You have updates to give. Does that mean that my block will be disappear from the screen? Geezy said,
No, you can stay. You can stay.
well, if you want me to stay, I'll be around today
Oh, wait.
to be
Mm-mm.
available for you to see.
Dun, dun, dun,
Jared,
dun.
this your
Oh, oh,
time. This your time, Mama's biscuits. This your time. What you gonna do? Come on,
I'm
and
trying.
Jared.
look, but me and Jared are coming out with a band that we're gonna create together. Y'all didn't hear about it yet, but you're hearing about it today. Mama's Bean Pie. It's about to be the new band that we
It's a
coming
hit.
up with. Y'all as soon as they
Boom.
know,
Well, hey, just tell
Jared
me
is the
this. Tell me this.
percussionist.
Tell me this. Tell me this. On the bean pie, is there parentheses with the VG in the middle?
BG.
VG.
Vegan.
Oh,
There will
vegan.
be vegan. There will be. There's vegan bean pies
They
in the
exist.
mix,
I'm
Yeah.
there.
yeah.
Sign me
We
up.
got you, Geechee. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Hey, before I give way, let me thank you all for the invitation to be with you. Let me thank you in advance for the opportunity that may arise in the future. But I am so convinced and so committed to the idea, the concept, the power, the victory that is ours. That in the words of Haile Selassie, that we hear recounted in Bob Marley's lyrical tone from the song War, that we are confident in the victory of good over
Hmm.
evil. As we are confident in the victory of what? Of good over evil. Good over evil. We believe that.
You
We
better sing, Brother
understand that.
Jamil.
And that is a part of what we practice every day. The victory of good over evil is guaranteed by whatever you think is the highest thing that you can refer to. If you call it the universe, then the universe guarantees it. If it's the great father, the great father, the great spirit guarantees it. If it's Allah, if it's Jehovah, if it is the highest canon of all of the intellectual inquiry that everything in scholarship could ever produce, then it is the universe It actually demands the freedom, justice, and equality of our to prove it. Shameless self-promotion coming up right here. Shameless every Tuesday morning. Every Tuesday morning. From 5 to 8 a.m. before the Remix Morning Show, 5 to 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Tune in to WPFW in Washington and listen to what I do there on the Yardbird Suites edition of the Morning Brew. We do, yes, they call it jazz, but I'm going to use that word for the sake of conversation, jazz and justice radio. And we do
Period.
programming there, which brings the music, which brings the inspiration, which brings the information. Like Brother Geechee said at the start of the program, Dr. Collins said that information and inspiration combined make education. Information and inspiration. Without either one, the education is teetered off balance and cannot be as effective. So, what we try to do on Tuesday morning, get you deep in the groove, huh? And inspire you to go out in a world where you're going to make another step closer
Come on.
toward in the journey toward freedom, justice, and equality. Just one more step. Just one more. You ain't got to go all the way today, baby. Just take one more step, and
And
you're
I
gonna
love
make
a
it.
And
good
then
orator.
there's just on those beautiful Tuesday mornings, there's just a slight interruptive moment that is later re picked up
Mhm.
with Voices with Vision. So
Yes,
between your show and then
yes.
that, there's a little interruptive,
Little
whatever,
hiccup.
a
We
little
forget the
hiccup.
name of the hiccup. I
Yeah,
forget the name of the hiccup.
I can't,
Yeah, I
but
can't recall it. But
I can't.
Voices with Vision with Nefta Freeman and our dear brother Craig Hall. They come on at 9 o'clock on
Yeah,
WPFW. If you
yeah.
don't know WPFW, you're not in the area in DC, just go to www dot, and somebody might put this in the chat, www.wpfwfm.org, and we come on there Tuesday mornings from 5 to 8. Get with us.
You
Stick your
said
pinky toe in the pool.
It's
WPFWFM.org.
and I just dropped it in the
WPFW,
chat as
I
well.
dropped it in
WPFW,
the chat.
WPFWFM.org. And you can reach out for us. Actually, when it come, I think that Monday I'm going to put a phone number in the chat where y'all can call us in the station and request your favorite John Coltrane tune. Okay, don't ask for no
I
Tracy.
love
Don't ask
202,
for
I
no
still
Tracy.
remember the number,
Yeah.
202-588-0893.
And I got one that's more special that actually reaches Jared, the undisclosed location in the
Oh,
Ozarks,
oh
where
wow.
people can actually talk to the programmer himself, and
I love
they can say
Coltrane.
that. Train. Let's see who said that now. Somebody else says. What's the comment say?
Somebody, Zinzi said Naima.
Oh, Naima. Oh, we got you, Zenzi. Because
Yeah.
you know I'm gonna take care of my sister. Now I don't care what nobody. Zenzi, it's me and you. Naima coming up on the radio. And this, oh, matter of fact, 4th of July, if you don't mind me saying, the 4th of July. What's that by Coltrane?
Equinox.
Equinox. Yeah.
Equinox, all the hits, Giant Steps. We
Shout
got you.
out Poncho.
We
Blues.
got you. But on the 4th of July from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m., I'll be on WPFW hosting a program as a slight retrospective of Sly and the Family Stones music and its impact on the other musics that grew out of it. Because all day that day on the 4th of July, there'll be special programming on WPFW, starting with the Frederick Douglass speech, the 4th of July speech, and going into other aspects of how to look at the day that they say is the day of independence for them.
Come on.
But in reality, is really something else. Mhm.
Yeah.
Ooh, y'all let me get a lot of promotion in. Thank you so much. Hey, chat, how y'all doing? Everybody all right? Let me ask
Thank you
Yipper and
very
them.
much.
Yipper, y'all in there? Y'all in there? And Chitty Macha, where
Yipper's
you at?
there.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, I
there.
just
I
want
just
to
want to
the
say
whole
that someone
team.
said Amber is wonderful. I
She is.
agree.
She is. She is.
And
You
then
know?
A Rob said the way that Brother Jamil and Jared respond to Amber the exact same way has me weak. It is funny.
Amber, why you gonna hit them with the someone said? Why you ain't call them out when they give you a compliment?
So,
I honestly just didn't know how to say the name. Is
Well, you
it
should have tried.
internet
Internetager.
or something?
Internetager.
She was like, someone said. Come on, Amber.
Anyways, okay, so here's the updates that I really have.
Oh
mm,
Lord.
So after I cleared the roster, the issue that I be having is that cancer season is such a busy season for me because I tend to date a lot of cancers. And this nigga had a birthday coming up. And do y'all think it's wrong to buy someone towels for their birthday? Because I just feel like he only had one towel in his bathroom, and that made me uncomfortable. I felt like a good gift would be to get him some towels.
Oh,
But do
okay.
you think that that's saying you need towels in your bathroom, or do you think that's like kindness? Like, hey, notice this. Wanted to get you some towels because men tend to have one bath towel and one face towel, and that's it.
You said for his birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a gift.
I mean, I think you should just get him towels just because you want to get him towels, and that's a good gesture. But for his birthday, I don't know if that might not be. Yeah, I ain't know.
I was wondering if he was gonna think of it like this is not actually a real gift. I did get a gift. I got her like a little cute little jacket. Like have you seen those Gigi, have you seen those like shirt jacket things that men have been wearing now? Like a jacket that's not very heavy that you could wear like with a undershirt.
No, but
Okay, well, that it's like that, but it's like a cute little floral print. I just think that I got him that, but I felt like also, I'm not spending a lot of money. I spent like maybe $40, but I just felt like, with the shacket, that's what it's called, with the shacket and the towels, that was a good gift. But I also thought giving him the towels might make him think that I was judging his lack of towels.
listen, I'm still trying to figure out a shacket. What the hell?
I think as part of a collection of gifts, maybe. But I think separately, not as a gift. Because I was at most a serial monogamist. I would prefer if there was going to be a woman spending time at my place, I would prefer that. I would love it if she bought the
like
things that she found would make
the
the
first
place
one, the
for her
first one,
stay
Geechee.
more comfortable. And I'll just
Is that
recuse
Geechee
myself from
or
that.
Jared
Yeah.
doing that?
I'm not doing it because I was trying to make a point.
Yeah, I was
but
letting
it's
Jared
just
finish his
been
point before we
it
talked
has
about
just been talked all over. So, but I think somewhere in there it got in there, it got heard. So I'll just leave it there.
Sorry, well, I did hear it, Jared. So in my thought, this is just me. I like to buy people things they need, not necessarily like just it's not random. I feel like they needed some towels. I also bought a pack of undershirts too, because they was talking about how they needed more undershirts because they wear those to work. And it was like, you can get a little 5-pack for like $15. And I said, I'm not trying to spend a whole bunch of money. So I was like, I'm just get that because that's what you said you needed. But I feel like that might be saying I feel like he don't have good style, or I don't know.
Man, that was funny.
Yeah. Well, Brother Jamil didn't leave yet, but yeah, we didn't send him off well. But I think he's chilling out in the chat because maybe Amber wanted to include her. Since he gave so much great advice and analysis, maybe Brother Jamil, because me and Jared, we failed.
I told him
me and Jared has failed at trying to coach Amber through this dating process, and I think she was hoping that Brother Jamil could steer her on the right path because she's struggling with them birthday towel gifts.
I am.
She's a little rough. We're gonna sign you up for one of them online they didn't subscribe joints, so it's rough.
I actually am on, and I also had a comment about that too. I actually am on dating apps, but I don't use them consistently, and that's the worst part because
no, not the apps. We talking about the coaching stuff. We're gonna get you a dating coaching guide or something.
I don't want that. No, that doesn't feel genuine. I feel like I feel like I'm too grown. Like people having to be coached into dating is weird to me. That's really weird, and you're not being your genuine self.
Are we saying something about Kai's comment here? Y'all ain't say buy nothing. Just should men get towels?
I
asked Brother Jamil if he wanted to stay on, and then he just left.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm not sure. But I do want to say I enjoyed again my front row seat to that conversation, and I think that was a fun exchange, and yeah,
it was a fun exchange. Ricky said, "Ain't that how sports work?" And I never play sports. I immediately realized,
How does what sports work?
like coaching.
Oh,
I never played sports because I tried to, and I feel like they was too aggressive, and I want to fight. So it was
oh
too much for
my.
me. A ball hit me. I want the ball to hit them too, because I feel like it's an eye for an eye after that. And I just realized competitive sports is not for me. I'm good. But no, I just feel like the towels was actually a good. I knew the context, Ricky. I just refused to give you that. I feel like the towels were the brother Jamil. You're still on him. He said, "Can I get the link back?" You're still on here.
I think you
It's
have to
cut
turn
your
your
camera back
camera
on.
on and then you'll be back on screen.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Or we can add you as just an avatar. And now you just have to unmute yourself if you want to talk.
Yeah. But I
Um,
also didn't even
mhm.
I didn't take the towels out the box yet because I was unsure about whether I should give them to him. I think because okay,
I think
so
you should give it to him. I think he should happily accept them because he should want you to be comfortable in the space. And
I
if he
know I
needs
feel like all
towels, he
my gift
should.
giving I feel like all my gift giving has been a little selfish though because for Christmas I gave him some pillows because
But
he
I
only
that's wild because I literally just asked for pillows and towels as gifts. Like
really
I got for Father's Day, I got a new pillow that's supposed to be one of those cooling pillows, whatever. I don't know if it's working right
yeah.
for me.
That's what I bought because
And
like he has a very hot body. I said, "Are y'all all right?
mhm.
Like, why do you always feel like you're running a fever? Are you okay?"
Yeah, nah, yeah, I needed that, but I don't feel like it's working. And then I asked for a new towel. Like I'm very, I'm not elaborate.
Yeah.
And,
Sometimes I
and
wonder
and
if because I want to make sure the space is comfortable for me, I bought them pillows and them towels.
oh,
But
Steven, I'm sorry, Amber. I'm sorry, but this is a trigger warning for me. Steven is asking if I'm tech support for my family, and I am, and it is a major problem. So like I'm constantly being asked about passwords, about login information. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Because everything for me is self-taught. So I'm like, if I can figure it out, I mean, yeah, I don't like it. Like when we log into to whatever device or whatever, it's oof. Uh, yeah, it's trauma. I'm also the designated trash man. I have to do the trash.
Renee said Jab don't have the patience level for tech support. Bless his
I
heart.
admit, I admit, I admit that there are limitations on it, and you know, I admit it. But listen, real quick, just real quick before here, I do want to self promote something at 12
Why are you
o'clock.
saying real quick and you're the only person that was talking?
I'm gonna be right. I'm gonna be on with Deculturation, the Deculturation podcast. So if folks, I do encourage people to support that platform. So check it out. And if you have nothing better to do, and then of course tomorrow, uh, uh,
Saturdays with Renee.
D. Musa Springer is going to be the special guest on Saturdays with Renee. So please come through. And
I love Musa. Musa, it was really cool reading your comments. I didn't get to pull them all up on the screen, but I really enjoyed reading your comments about you being Muslim as well. They're really good.
yeah, Musa is sharp. So I'm looking forward to that. And
It's gonna
then
be
uh I'm forgetting something, but yeah, I'm forgetting something, but I'll just stop there. I just want to at least get those in there. And yeah, I'll add the link to the Deculturation podcast. I'll just drop that in the chat.
cool.
I'm new to their platform, but I've been catching up a little bit, and they just, I love the hate that they have for liberals.
Musa said, Jab and Amber, I told Amber to go easy on you on Fridays. And I can attest that Musa
Thank
did.
you. Thank you, Musa.
Musa
Thank
definitely
you.
told me that. And because I refuse to be nice to men, I won't be doing it, but it's okay.
Okay.
'Cause
Well,
I
the
did
attempt was there. We appreciate the attempt,
yeah, I did listen.
right. Uh, so
You heard
so
him. You didn't listen. You heard him. You heard them.
I listened. Whether or not I took action on it
Heard them.
is
You didn't
different.
listen.
Whatever, Ichi. It's always a nigga from the Gullah Gullah Islands having pushback.
you know,
Shout
and
out
it's
to
not a deculturation salute. It's not that was not a knock on you. It's you know, about my being the guest. You
Yeah,
know.
he's more so cracking on himself. I don't know why, because Jerry knows what he's doing and he's really good at it, but you know.
Amber, that just means you're not coming for the Gullah people. So go ahead and stop that right now.
What?
Don't worry about it. We in the
The
chat.
comment
So
that you mean the comment that you put up but you didn't read?
right, because I'm just letting you know we in the chat. So chill out. Chill out.
Ain't nobody scared of you, Geechee?
All right. I'm just trying to help you out. You must
I'm
be
not
know about no
worried.
roots. You think your
Whose
dating
dog is
rules are
that?
messed up.
I'm not
It's
worried.
Amber dog.
That's
Yeah,
Amber's.
because he said Geechee really got us fucked
No,
up.
he's trying to tell you to chill out. Don't mess with them the Gullah Geechee people. That's what he's trying to
No,
tell you.
he's trying to tell you to get it.
All
Yeah,
right. Heed to the warning.
exactly. I know that's right, Mac. Anyways, yeah, so I think I am going to give him the towels. Thanks, Jared. That makes me feel better. But the reason why I was a little apprehensive is because after I bought him them pillows, he ain't never used them motherfuckers. And I really want to say give them back.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I know what roots are. It's not like a...
Shit.
You should not being secretive with his little slight threats. Anyways, so Jared, including that context, would you give him the towels?
Yeah, but again, my bias is set in a certain way that as the man receiving the towels, I would be greatly appreciative. I like I said, I like new towels, and I would want the woman who I would want to be spending time over there to be comfortable and have the things that she wants. So when they would, like, all the time, like when they would leave the little, like, whatever their little favorite, soaps or hair care products or face care, whatever, I'd be like, get it, get comfortable. If you got new towels you want to bring in here, let me know. I had once upon a time, a woman let me know by saying that she was going to not stay with me, but in the hotel, that my place wasn't clean enough. So
Wait,
I needed.
How soon was this before you locked in with your wife?
Oh, this is years before. This is many years before. I needed a lot of work before I would be wife worthy.
So the girl got you together. The girl got you together.
I mean, I tried to pick up a couple things along the way. I was a late starter and I needed some help. And so no, I don't, and I did try to listen when I got advice, So I've slowly got to the point where I was marryable. And then as my wife would say, there still needed to be some
marryable,
work done. And then I think she said about our 10th anniversary, she was like, I think I got you there, so so I mean, it's I'm a work in progress, and that's
What about you, Geechee? Do people ever buy you stuff?
Dre said I got her name tatted on day 7. That's hilarious.
Of course. But yeah, I think I was kind of the same thing with Jared though. Like, I think towels and stuff like that are cool, but it would be interesting for that to be a birthday gift. So it would definitely have to be mixed with other stuff. But yeah, I actually don't like gifts though. I rather go places or do something. I don't really like gifts.
Well, I mean, I was gonna do something. Okay, so here's my other question: if someone told you, like months prior or like a month or so prior, that they actually like, did you want to do something for your birthday? And you're like, yeah, they were cool with that. And then like a few days before their birthday, they was like, actually, I don't really like celebrate it like that because I kind of have some birthday trauma. But they never mentioned that. Would you still give them the gift?
It depends on how the birthday, like what the birthday trauma is. Like, I don't have birthday trauma. I just never really made a big deal of my birthday. But if there's birthday trauma,
Well, they said that like they didn't really get to celebrate it how they wanted to as a kid, and it kind of made them feel bad. So they never really pushed the idea after that. And so they celebrated occasionally, but not that much. Like it's not a big deal
that's
to them.
perfect. Then you can ask them, well, how would you have celebrated, or how would you want to, and then y'all can create your own traditions. But you don't have to be good for the long run. You
Would
can't
I
just
create a tradition with someone I'm not going to be in a relationship with?
that's my point. You're gonna have to like, because I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say that helping create a tradition and not being invested is a bad thing. I mean, because as you said, if Jared partners got him prepared for his ultimate partner, then maybe that's what you'll be doing. I don't know, but you can help.
I think that I just be kind of testing stuff out, seeing how it goes.
Listen, unfortunately, good people, I do need to make ways.
Okay,
Anything
next week,
anybody?
Jared, we can talk about Love Island because I think that the level of non-clothing really will set you over the edge. It's starting to set me over the edge, and I just
Hey,
think that we should discuss it.
also, really quick
Oh,
before
wow.
we leave, if there's anybody in the Louisville, Lexington area, I'll be there in August, the 2nd through 8th for intensive. So if you're in Louisville, Lexington, close to Lexington somewhere, come
Louisville,
out to
Louisville,
Louisville.
Louisville.
Art of Organizing, hosted in Lexington, Kentucky, from the 2nd through the 8th. I have the link in the chat. So
Are
come
you
through.
doing a like a session?
Yeah, I have a session on the 6th, I think. Yeah, Liberated Zone in Theory and Practice. So yeah, come true.
All right on. So it's not on a Friday morning, so it won't interrupt your time here. So let's keep
Wait,
let's
what
let's
time
keep
was
our
that
eyes
one?
on the prize. Let's keep our eyes on the
Yeah, because we
prize.
really need to
Yeah.
discuss Love Island. I just think that there are
Love
so many
Island.
lessons to learn from this show. Why are you laughing so hard?
I don't even know what the show is, to be honest.
But because we're not going to talk about it until next Friday, Geisha, you have enough time to go binge all 20 episodes that are out right now.
20
No,
episodes?
bro. No, bro.
Nah.
Love Island don't even sound like something I'll watch.
If you split it up over 2 days, you can do 10 episodes a day. They're only 50 minutes.
I will admit this though. I did just binge the newest season of The Bear. And I'm not proud that I like the show. But I do like the show. I do say I agree there's a critique of the show, which is true, that The Bear has gone on a path from praising a working class restaurant serving working class people to becoming a bougie elitist restaurant chasing all the accolades and the stars and stuff. But
that's the environment that guy came from. He came from that kind of environment and then came back.
All I can say is I'm just they hit a certain emotional register that I'm a sucker for. So I can't front. I like the show. But
Just to answer Elon's
yeah.
question real quick, Elon asked if I was an OG Love Island fan. Just want to say, not at all. Actually, the only season I've watched fully is this one. Last season, I watched a few episodes, but I was mostly following it on Twitter. And I don't know if y'all be using Twitter for like shows and stuff, but people like live tweet and like post so many clips. I was basically watching the fucking show. So I was following the two black couples. They were black, and it was like a black guy, a black lady, and a Mexican guy, and two black people. And I was following them because it was so good, like seeing it play out. But because I never watched a full episode, I didn't know how much they always kissing other people. I said it's disgusting. Did they not hear about mono? They're like always doing these different challenges, and so they'll like kiss different folks. And I'm like, bro, you've kissed like 4 people in this one game. Are you not worried about germs at all? It's so concerning to me. So I be skipping through the challenges sometimes, and then I just get to the actual real part of the show. And it's just really interesting. Like this season has been really wild.
Well, look, I know Jared got to go, so we can bounce, but I don't I don't know about that show. Elon and Leah says they watch it, so maybe, but that's too much watching.
Well, I think everybody should leave and go put on one more layer of clothing and enjoy the rest of their day. Please do like, share, subscribe, support the platform, blackliberationmedia.org, to support in any number of ways, including getting some merch. And ring the bell so you don't miss when all the new shows are dropping, and which is pretty regular. A lot of good stuff. So get caught up, and we will be back Monday with more of the Fanon Lumumba series, another great week of remixes. So peace, everybody. Only if you're willing to fight for it, like Fred Hampton used to say. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Remix. 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 Remix.